If the noise of the world consumes you, you're always here listening, checking, thinking, researching, you're always thinking of the next step. I want you to know that God is more concerned about who you are becoming in this process as He helps you pursue your purpose. So you need to start silencing the noise, silencing the pressure, silencing the second guessing, silencing the questioning, silencing all these voices that are putting you in a constant state of anxiety where you're always asking, what if I'm missing out on God's plan because I'm doing this? What if I take this direction and it's not what God has planned for me? God is saying, stop. I am more interested in the woman you are becoming more than what you're doing. There is the ordinary that God just wants us to enjoy. He wants us to sit and enjoy the sun. He wants us to dance to good music. He wants us to live as people who are full of life. And the only way we can do that is if we stop spiritualizing everything, because that also has its effects. And that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. If you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Jane. Welcome to Make an Impression. My desire is to help women who are struggling with fear overcome it so that they can authentically live their lives through faith and bold action. It took me a while to realize that not everything in life has to carry a prophetic meaning. I mean, growing up as a woman of faith or just as a faith girly, I was always thinking that everything that was happening in my life, everybody who was speaking to me, every conversation that I was having, every little detail had to carry a spiritual or a prophetic meaning. And what that did for me is that it drained me. It consumed my thoughts. I was always under this impression that I am not living in God's purpose, or I am missing God's purpose because I'm finding myself in these situations and instances where I keep judging myself and thinking that I'm going to go to hell because I sat down and had a glass of wine. Let me tell you, as women of faith, our problem is that we tend to spiritualize everything, and that way we forget to involve God in our ordinary, because we don't think our ordinary is spiritual. We don't think our making of meals, our having of conversations, our playing of kids, our building our vision is things that need God, because we think they're just normal, everyday, ordinary stuff. But if you want to know that you're actually living in God's will, or if you want to be in a space where God can speak to you concerning your will, you need to start exercising a different faith, a faith that professes God even in the ordinary days, the days where you're weak, the days where you don't know what you're doing, the days where you collapse and fail and just do the opposite of what you're supposed to do. Even in those ordinary days, God wants us to trust Him, because that is the only way we will be able to stop thinking that we are missing out on God's plan because we messed up once. We are missing on God's plan because we did not do what was expected of us. We are missing on God's plan because we did not pray for this person, or we did not contribute in this place, or we did not do this and this and this. We need to start operating from a space of accepting God in the ordinary. There is the ordinary that God just wants us to enjoy. He wants us to sit and enjoy the sun. He wants us to dance to good music. He wants us to live as people who are full of life. And the only way we can do that is if we stop spiritualizing everything, because that also has its effects. And that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. A lot of us tend to delay making decisions or not making them at all, because we think that if we make the wrong decision or if we choose the wrong thing, then we have failed God and He's going to leave us, and we are not going to be living in the will that He has placed for us. But that's not how God operates. God has given us free will, but in that free will, He's also asked us to invite Him in the decision making, invite Him in the actions, invite Him in the steps that we intend to take, so that as we believe that this is the road, this is the path that He has set out for us, we are saying, God, I am making this decision. I don't know whether it's the right one or the wrong one, but I invite you so that whatever it is, it will still lead me into the path that you have set out for me. God wants us to trust Him like that, so that even when we fail, even when we go in the wrong direction, because more often than not, we're going to find ourselves doing things that are not right. We're going to find ourselves in environments that are not good for us. We're going to find ourselves seeking love or seeking commitment in places that God has not called us to. But that should not be what we dwell on. We should only understand that it's an invitation. God is inviting us so that we can be able to trust Him with the ordinary. As we make the normal day-to-day decisions, we are saying, I don't know if this is if this is your will for my life. Nevertheless, I am taking this step of faith, and I am trusting that if it is not in your will, it is going to step or drop out of the way. Because when you live like that, you're also giving God room to do what He's supposed to do. Remember, your part is taking the action. Your part is deciding, my faith will not stay silent anymore. I'm going to take this action. But God's part is saying, while I take this action, while I don't know if this is right for me, I am still moving forward, and I am trusting that if it is not, you're going to get it out of my way, because I believe that I will not miss your will as I continue to live this life. So we need to be able to have that confidence that God is holding us, that God is taking care of us, that God knows that we are doing our best. And in that doing our best, He's going to mold us to be the women that He wants us to be, so that as we carry this calling, as we carry this purpose that He has put in our hearts, He continues to mold us into the people that He wants us to be, so that we can carry this vision with great might and great strength. So as you sit there and decide not to do anything, not to take any action because you don't want to upset God, or you don't want to walk in a direction that is not in your will, remember, God works when we take our bold action. That is when we are giving Him permission to work. That is when we are giving Him permission to be able to guide us into the direction that He wants us to take. Remember, the will of God will never take you where the strength of God cannot carry you. So you need to start operating from a space of believing that God is going to carry you as you take that bold action, as you decide to move, as you decide to stop listening to the constant noise of the world, as you stop allowing society to tell you who you are and who you can become, or just because you have been raised in a certain state, or just because life happened to you a certain way, so now you've already made up your mind that this was God's will for your life. No, God has called us to prosper. God has called us to represent Him in this kingdom. And the only way we can do that is when we take the bold action. So today I want to challenge you. Sit down with your thoughts and think about the bold action that you are not taking, that which you know you're supposed to be taking, but you're not taking because you're thinking, what if this is not God's will for my life? How about, what if I take this action and then see where God takes me from there? Because that is the attitude we need to start having, so that we can stop overwhelming our minds with anxiety, with thinking that we are doing the wrong things, with thinking that we are not making the right decisions, with thinking that we are not moving. God is saying, move. I will meet you in that movement. I will convict you in that movement. I will help you in that movement. I do not want you to, like God wants, even when He asked Moses, what do you have in your hands? He was basically saying, I have already given you what you need. I need you to take that power, take that bold action, and I will find you in that bold action, and I will help you. I will show you the vision for your life. I will help you figure it out along the way. So we need to stop delaying making decisions, stop delaying taking action because you're thinking you are missing out on God's plan. God's plan is already set out for you. He's just waiting for you to take the bold action, so that He can come in and bring it to completion. Life is anything to go by. I always say that God is big enough to handle the things that I don't know how to handle, because He has put me in situations where I have had to do things that I didn't know how to do, where in that confusion I trusted Him and I said, if you put me here, there must be a reason. There must be something. You must have trusted me with this assignment because you knew I could do it. So I've changed my mindset from thinking that, oh, this thing is meant for people who are like this, or this thing is supposed to be done by people who are qualified, or this thing can only be done by people who have this and this and this. Nowadays, I have learned to ask myself what it is that I already have and how I can move forward with it. And I trust God enough to believe that if He puts that vision in my heart, there is a reason, there's something He must have seen. And so if He sees it, why should I not see it? And that's why I keep saying, pursue a relationship with God, because when you know Him for who He is, you're able to carry Him in every detail of your life. Anything that challenges you, anything that looks like it's not doable, anything that makes you question yourself, that is the point where you go back to who God is. Who do you know Him to be? Because He's going to help you step out of that space of fear, that space where you're constantly thinking, am I losing myself? Am I doing things that are not in God's will? Because as long as you have as long as from your heart you're doing it from a good attitude, and you know you are doing it from a place of pursuing purpose, God always comes through. He is big enough to do it. He is big enough to come in that confusion and create a path for you. He's big enough to show you how to do things. He's big enough to bring people in your life who are going to direct you and who are going to help you become that person that you're supposed to become. So I would like us to start renewing our minds, changing our mindset, and thinking about this bold faith, this action that I want to take. Am I taking it out of fear, or am I taking it out of faith? Am I trusting that every step that I take, every decision that I make, it is one step closer to getting to the place where God has called me to be? I am not missing out on God's plan for my life. I am not confused. I am very particular and very clear on the state and the direction that I am taking. And I know that God is going to see me through on the other side. That is the attitude I hope we all embrace as we seek to move our faith into bold action, so that we can just stop saying, oh, we have Christian girlies, or but we are actually doing something about it. There's work to be done, and there's kingdoms that we need to bring closer to God. So we can only do that if we take the steps that we are supposed to take. I'm going to link the video here that I did talking about how you don't lack confidence, you lack clarity, because that will help you be able to integrate into this video that we have discussed just now. Once you get clarity, then you'll start understanding that you're not missing out on God's plan, but you are walking on purpose, in purpose. Till the next one, bye.